Time to start dialysis. The first thing I have to do before starting dialysis is I have to prime this machine. It gets all the air out of the lines in this cartridge that's here inside the machine. I also have to do testing of the water in the sac, which has the concentrate of the dialysate that cleans my blood. This sac is filled overnight, so it'll be ready for me when I get it on the machine in the morning. While my dialysis machine is priming, I get my supplies ready for the day. While my dialysis machine is priming, I take my vitals and do a self-assessment on this iPad, which is solely connected to my dialysis machine. During the priming process, the machine is checking for a series of alarms. The machine has now finished all its alarm testing, but it's still not done priming. I have to snap these lines to make sure there's no air in the lines. The machine is now finished priming. I've set everything for today's session, and it's going to take about 4 hours and 12 minutes to complete the whole treatment. So now it's time for my wife nurse to hook me up to the machine. Before my wife hooks me up to my machine, we have to get the dog out of the room because the dog cannot be in the same room with me while I'm doing my dialysis. Now this is my wife nurse, and she does the rest from here on out. She's gonna hook me up, but before she hooks me up, she has to change my dressing around my CVC catheter to make sure it's clean. Now my wife's about to hook me up to the machine. She's gonna put this pad up under my CVC catheters and get to hooking me up. Now throughout the treatment, I will monitor my pressures and take my vitals, which happens every 30 minutes. I have to take my vitals during the treatment. And while on treatment, you probably wonder what else I do. I watch YouTube.
Okay, so treatment has ended. So what we want to do is we want to come over and we want to hit mute to ding the alarm, and then we're going to hit stop to stop the pump. So now the pump is stopped. So now I'm going to come over and I'm going to clamp the red arterial line, because this is what we are going to connect back to the IV back here, and the IV solution is going to come down the red line. It's going to push all of this saline down the red line, and then it's going to go back through the pump, and everything that's left in this blue line here is going to return the blood back to him. Okay, so treatment has been completed. As you can see, the filter is a little bit more clear now, where it was first a deep darker red. So we have returned all of the blood back to the body. This is the machine. It tells us how many liters of the glycolate we've used. It also shows how many liters was removed from Andre. And then this is going to show how many times the blood was cleaned through the 4-hour and 8-minute process, which was 100 times. So that's the end of treatment. Okay, so now that treatment is completed, he's completely been removed from the machine. As you can see, we have 2 saline syringes here where we just went and flushed the lines to make sure that they're clear. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to get the limbs cleaned up with just your basic alcohol swab. Also, we're going to push in heparin into the limbs. This is just going to help to prevent from any kind of clotting or anything in the limbs. So when we do treatment, his next treatment, when we get ready to pull back before we start treatment, we won't have any clotting or anything in the limbs. And also, if you're just interested on your limbs here, it will tell you how much here. It will tell you how much of the heparin that you need to draw into your syringes. So it'll tell you how much to put in. So we're going to go ahead and get them all cleaned up. And then at the end, we're just going to cap off the limb with these 2 caps to keep everything nice, secure, and germ-free until the next treatment.
She now flushes my limbs with saline and pack them with heparin. Now that my treatment is ended and I'm off the machine, she's flushed my limbs and everything. It's now time to take down the machine, remove the cartridge, saline bag, and throw it away. Also, while she's doing that, the sack is being drained because though I use 50 milliliters of fluid to clean my blood, there's still 10 milliliters left. It's a 60 milliliter bag. So we have to drain it through the machine. She now removes the cartridge and throws it in the trash, and we clean the machine and prep it for the next day. So after my treatment is done and we've cleaned up, the last thing I do is my vitals again, and then I also do a post-treatment assessment. And after that, I'm done. I put the iPad on the charger because it's quite a bit of battery over 4 hours, and it'll be ready for the next day. I'm gonna put it on the charger. Then after the sack over here completely empties, I will start another one, and it will fill up overnight and be ready for my next treatment the next day.
Okay, so for the dialysis cost, dialysis is generally billed on a monthly basis. So when you see those bills go through your insurance provider, they are more than likely going to be well over $100,000. That's going to include your treatment, any supplies that are being used during your treatment, is mainly what it's going to be. So Most insurances um, only cover 80%, leaving you with a 20%. It just depends on which insurance you have, but generally, dialysis is covered at an 80/20 cost sharing. Um, Also, for anybody that is in the Medicare coverage or has Medicare coverage, I know previously that you could not get a Medicare Advantage or Part C plan if you were considered to have end-stage renal disease. However, that rule did change in 2020 for 2021 um, Medicare Advantage plans that they now will accept you if you have end-stage renal disease. So that's a plus as well because, like I said, some plans only cover 80/20, but it's very obtainable with dialysis because of the cost that you'll reach your out-of-pocket max and deductible if there is a deductible earlier in the year. So it's kind of cost efficient for the member in the long run. You might have bigger bills at the beginning of the year, depending on that 20%, that may average out to the patient around $1,000 to $2,000, but towards the end of the year.
Mine was 5.
Oh, or it could be five, or $5,000 to $2,000 is generally what you're kind of looking at with the 80/20 split. But if you look at it in the long run, usually by the middle of the year, you've already met your out-of-pocket max and your deductible if there is a deductible, so you kind of have no cost for that. So that's one of the benefits of having the Medicare Advantage plan if you don't qualify for like Medicaid coverage.